Peter's perceptions of patterns and the other particulates. Story time. God, talk about a tongue twister. So, I'm not sure how any of this works. Not even sure how far back to the past I should go to understand my stance on the situation. But I'm going to try to explain with some backstory first. Trigger warning: SA, misogyny, manipulation, and childhood trauma are all mentioned in this story. I, 41, survived a child trafficking scheme and reported my family to the authorities when I was 16. Nothing came of it and was forced by my mother to drop charges as her many explanations and excuses wore my then just a child mind down. I made it on my own, graduated, valedictorian, and I got a decent job. Fast forward a few years and somehow got sucked into caring for the ailing predators. This was very hard on my psyche. I cut ties completely when my mother confessed the situation had never stopped, but moved on to the other kids. I reported them immediately after talking to her, and the subsequent investigation, which had recorded the confessions, deemed there were too many loopholes to prosecute. It's been 10 years, but I managed to keep the case open for later findings to be added. I tell all of this to clarify that my husband, 48, of 17 years and married 14 of them, was there and supportive through that chaos, which then leads me to the most unnerving encounter with husband. His name, we'll call him Peter. One morning, 2 years ago, I woke up and Peter was putting laundry up by the side of the bed, quietly as to not disturb me. He saw I was awake and asked if I remembered last night at all. I told him I slept pretty good and asked if I was talking in my sleep or something. Peter started giggling and said, "Well, I started feeling frisky last night." I won't describe what he did while I was unconscious, but I wasn't consenting to what happened. I stared at him in confusion for a bit and began tearing up. He then morphed into rage and yelled, "How can you not say anything? How are you looking at me like I'm a monster? Like your father?" I went off and started yelling too. I wanted an explanation on how this man, who I thought I knew and who knew me, could violate me so indignantly. The answers were traumatizing. He said he couldn't SA me because we're married. And he only told me because he thought I would think it was funny. We talked it out, I guess. He apologized and said it wouldn't happen again. I told him to get therapy to help us get to a better resolution. I went, he didn't. Now, 9 months ago ish, he recently shared some disturbing reels, memes, TikToks about misogyny, traditional wives, and men's loneliness epidemic on his social media. Some friends noticed, and a few asked me questions. I talked with him to see what resonated with him about these messages. The short answers are: here's his list of reasons. I wouldn't understand because I'm not a father. Men in general society don't need therapy. My past is making me see him more harshly because he didn't hurt me maliciously. I should focus on his happiness and make him happy. Men need whoop whoop to open up emotionally, and I don't give him that chance. All I can say is, ew. To say I was livid is an understatement. I told him to get therapy or kick rocks. He finally agreed, but says he doesn't know how. Peter says I'm holding back progress because I won't help him. At this point, I've been emotionally gone for months. I told him to research how to set up an appointment, but he had to make the effort. He saw this as a test for me, and I'm setting him up for failure. I just didn't want him to say he was attacked in a session because I picked the therapist. I'm very aware now to the manipulation, finally. He moved out of the bedroom of his own accord, something I should have suggested, but was too close to the chaos to even think about. I started enjoying sleeping alone. He stays on one end of the house and I on the other. We go to therapy. The therapist is appalled, but also professional. And I reveal I'm not wanting a relationship with my husband anymore. And my husband goes silent until last week. Last week, I planned to go to a party. We bought tickets for a year in advance to spend the weekend for fun. Peter was not going at this point and gave me permission to go without him. The morning of the day I was leaving, he decided to take off work. He started in on all his key talking points. He asked how we can move forward and reconnect. He asked me what I wanted. I was honest and said he has put no effort into taking accountability and I want a separation. Then he said, I don't think that's what you want. Arguing continues on my point of not accepting my answers and the importance of consent. Our kids, 8 male, 3 female, come home and we are cordial to each other around them. I leave, but I'm nearly in tears. Here's where I may have been wrong. I couldn't go to the weekend function and pretend to have fun when all I wanted to do was scream, cry, and plan my exit strategy. I couldn't go home because I needed space to decompress, and he would not help accomplish that. So I pulled over a few blocks from home, called, and canceled my reservation. I lost some money, but I refused to shit on others' vibes when they should be enjoying their time. I then called the friend phone tree. A couple of them responded fairly quickly, like within minutes of the text. One friend is selling a houseboat and offered it up to me for a getaway. Perfect. I spent the afternoon in relative peace after a good whaling and a nap. I later went out on my friend's other boat to cruise around the lake and eat dinner. We bebopped around the water, ate grilled kebabs, got inebriated, ran the boat aground after the captain lost his glasses overboard and took 4 hours on a 1-hour trip trying to get back to the dock in the dark. All in all, wonderful shenanigans. I kept a couple other friends apprised of my location and current events during this time, for emergency concerns. Really, it was great, almost Gilligan-like adventure. I came home and was showing the kids pictures of the sunset from the boat when Peter found out I went somewhere different than planned and he's not happy. Maybe I should have told him. I understand that I probably should have notified him of the change and would have in the past. I feel like he purposely waited to push my buttons, even took time off work to make sure I arrived at my destination with puffy eyes and a cynical attitude. This doesn't justify my lack of communication, especially since we have the little ones that we co-parent. He is unaware I had a phone tree set up for emergencies and wasn't completely MIA. I, however, get the feeling he's more mad that I enjoyed my impromptu adventure and didn't go make a Debbie Downer impression at the original planned location. Look, I don't care who is right or even how to fix the relationship at this point. Am I perpetrating the tension by not including him in the changes? Do I owe him an apology? I'm leaving out some other details that have colored my view on our relationship as toxic from the beginning. I've been continuing self-growth and have peeled back my naivety and patriarchal conditioning to finally see that particulates are written on the toilet seat. Oh, I'm just exhausted and not wanting to be alone in my perception of this chaos. Am I the only one seeing this smell? I discovered that I have wonderful friends and a great supportive people I have chosen to surround myself with. Any advice on navigating this toxicity to lessen the stress on the kids is appreciated. Thank you for your attention. That was long. All right, here's what I'm going to tell you. Number one, anybody that tries to tell you you can't be SA'd because they're married to you, negative ghostwriter. No is a complete sentence. So is yes. If you were unconscious and he decided to do the things he did to you, yeah, by technical terms, he absolutely SA'd you. The problem comes into the fact that he tried to avoid it instead of taking responsibility. Like him saying, oh, I thought you'd think it was funny. I thought you might have been awake. Anything like that. Okay. Trying to give benefit of the doubt here. But the fact of the matter is you did tell him, not only does he know what happened to you in the past, but he weaponized it. He literally threw your father in your face. I do not believe that people that love you would ever throw SA in your face as a weapon. They may not know how to comfort you. They may not know how to be there for you, but ever using it as a weapon against you is just disgusting. Number two, you've already told your husband that you want a separation. You had plans to leave for the weekend. Your kids were with their dad and there were people that knew who you were and plans changed. Did you owe him that information? No. Do I think you should have given it to him? Well, I guess it all depends on what the situation was at the time. I kind of feel like maybe if he wouldn't have come home that day and started drama with you, if plans had changed, you would have probably texted him to let him know. The fact that his actions are what got you upset to the point that you didn't go to the original location, actions have consequences. But you also said when you were on the lake, we went out. So I know you mentioned there was a captain. Was there somebody else with you? Because I'm going to say if there was somebody there with you of the opposite sex, other than the person piloting the boat, that implies that there was more going on here than you've told. So what I'm going to say is based off of your story, currently, you are not the asshole. If there was more context to let us know what was behind it, then maybe you are a little bit.